daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Manchester United podcast. I'm doing a solo episode this evening and unfortunately it's international break. And we have a lot of players in action for their respective countries over the next while. And I thought I'd kind of have a quick run through the article that's been posted on the Manchester United official website by Adam Marshall of which Reds are on international duty. So we're going to have a flick through, have a bit of a discussion about some of them, see how they've been getting on this season so far. And what they have to look forward to, I suppose, from an international perspective over the next while. So yeah, plenty to cover here in terms of the episode for today. Kicking things off with Cameroon. They're actually playing on Wednesday afternoon with a World Cup qualifier away to Mauritius. And of course, we have Brian Mbeumo. We spoke about him on yesterday's episode and how much he's really benefiting from having Amad Diallo playing in the right wing back role beside him, giving him and providing that opportunity to play a little bit further up the pitch in one of those advanced number 10 positions off the right hand side, and being really, really effective for us and being a good outlet as well. So I've been very impressed with how he's kind of hit the ground running, 7, 8, 9 games into the season. So I think that signing has really, really paid off and has definitely elevated the attacking threat that we possess now, which is great. And going from a great signing to a player that we have seen go out on loan, sticking with the Cameroon theme, Andre Onana, who's on loan at Trabzonspor, he's likely going to be playing. Cameroon are actually 4 points adrift of Cape Verde at the top of Group D. We had Kieran's famous clip of Cape Verde on the TikTok page getting plenty of coverage with that, but they also are playing Angola on Monday. But yeah, and Andre Onana, I mean, I'm not going to lie, haven't been following Trabzonspor that much, but was singing the praises of Sen Limon on yesterday's episode, and just the fans, being so rejoiced that a goalkeeper can come out and fetch a ball and catch it above his head. Those kind of basic things that you'd expect from a Premier League goalkeeper, and someone that kind of provide that bit of confidence as well for the back four and the defensive unit in general. So it's great to have a goalkeeper that the team seem to be able to trust. And let's see how we go from there. But yeah, hopefully the two players get on well for Cameroon. They're kicking things off quite early within the international break as well. So let's see how they get on there. In terms of Morocco, they are playing Bahrain, and we have Masraoui in the squad. We haven't seen too much of him. Obviously, he's been injured and hasn't really featured that much, if any at all, for us. They have a couple of big games. They have Dominican Republic of Congo as well on Tuesday. But Masraoui, looking forward to kind of seeing him get back into the squad a bit more regularly when he's back fully fit. We know we can play in a couple of different positions in this system. Play as one of the three in the back three, but also right wing back or left wing back where needed if we're maybe coming up against a bit of a more attacking team, and we know that we're not going to have as much of the ball to kind of have that defensive presence there. But big fan of Masraoui, so yeah, looking forward to having him back in and amongst it when it comes to squad selection. Moving on then to Denmark, we have Patrick Dargu and of course another loanee, Rasmus Hojland. They're playing Belarus, and then they also have a match on Sunday against Greece. I mean, Hojland, to be honest, I'm absolutely delighted for him. I mean, he just seems to have such a weight lifted off his shoulders. He got his goal in the Champions League, pointing to the badge. Look, the emotions take over. He's earned his I suppose, chance to actually point to the badge and enjoy his time within the Champions League. If you think back to his first season at United, his best matches were actually in Europe. There was 4 or 5 goals that he got in that Champions League campaign as well. So a player that's kind of suited to those midweek night matches. So yeah, really, really delighted for him that things are going well for him at Napoli. Obviously, it's not bad when you have Mick Sauce feeding you some chances, but also just a fella called Kevin De Bruyne feeding you some assists as well. So it could be worse for him. So I'm glad he's doing well. And then we have Patrick Dargu, who I've been a big fan of. I think he's come in under the radar, but he's performed really, really well. And the only kind of weakness is some of the balls that he's had in the final third, but I can see improvement on that from how raw he was last year, kind of coming in towards the end of the season, that he is starting to feel a bit more assured, I think, in that left wing back position. And we do ask an awful lot of him. We touched on yesterday's episode that the chemistry that we have on the right side of the team isn't really reflected on the left-hand side of the team yet, and we don't really have a secure kind of left number 10 like we do with Mbeumo on the right. So, we're expecting him to do an awful lot of defensive duty, but also get up the pitch and join in the attacks and be able to provide that end product for the likes of Sesko, etc. So really, really happy with Dargu and glad that he's getting some solid minutes as well for Denmark moving forward. Moving on then to Brazil, and we have Casemiro and Cunha, who are involved in Carlo Ancelotti's squad. They are taking on Korea and Japan, while Paraguay have Diego León, who's got his maiden call-up, which is great. I mean, Diego León, I saw a couple of glimpses of him in pre-season. Hasn't really featured at all for United this season. Providing a bit of competition for Dargu on that left-hand side, and with Luke Shaw as well. Kind of sent our Harry Amas out on loan as well. So yeah, hopefully he can really shine, getting his maiden call up to the squad there, and hopefully things go really, really well for him. A couple of others that we need to mention is Ahmad is joining up with the Ivory Coast squad, and they take on the Seychelles and Kenya. And then we have our number 9, Benjamin Sesko, lining out for Slovenia, and they're playing Kosovo and Switzerland. So hopefully he can kind of continue that scoring run that he's on at the moment and be able to bag a few goals to kind of keep that confidence going. So we'll take a quick break there, and we'll be back with covering a couple of more profiles and where they're going to be playing their football over the next while.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
A player that is slowly becoming one of my favourites, which I suppose is just showing how low the bar has been, but Sen Lemon has been called up for Belgium, still awaiting his international bow. He's been brought up twice, or he's been on the bench twice. Apologies to the Belgium. He's been named in the squad for the World Cup qualifiers. They're facing North Macedonia and Wales. It's going to be tough for him to get a game with Belgium, with Courtois still knocking around for Belgium, but really, really delighted that he's in amongst it and solidifying his place within that Belgium squad as well. Still obviously really young and seems to have good stature about him, seems to be quite level-headed as well. And, like I mentioned previously on yesterday's episode as well, just such a a weight lifted off your shoulders when you're watching them, that you can kind of trust what's actually going on. And yes, it is early, I understand that, but from where we were, it's a great kind of positive note to hang your hat on, I suppose, when it comes to our goalkeeping situation. Moving on to the weekend and some of the matches that are taking place, then we have Portugal, the UEFA Nations League champions. They're taking on the Republic of Ireland. I think the lesser said about that, the better. Ireland haven't had the greatest start to the World Cup qualifiers, getting the draw against Hungary and then losing quite heavily to Armenia. So, I mean, it'll take something magic to get anything out of that game from an Irish perspective. I think we need to get all the big boys back. Richard Dunn, John O'Shea, Darren Gibson, Stephen Ireland. I think they'd all have to come back in for us to have a fighting chance against Portugal. But let's see how we get on. They are facing Ireland, obviously, Portugal, and then they're playing Hungary as well. So, you know, they have a very, very strong squad. We're going to have Diogo Dalot. We're going to have Bruno Fernandes within those squads as well. So hopefully that Ireland can sneak a point from that game. Moving on to Ireland's neighbours, we have England. Obviously, Marcus Rashford is on loan at Barcelona. He scored some absolute crackers for Barcelona in the Champions League. They've had a couple of ups and downs when it comes to their form within La Liga, but he's been doing pretty decent. He's in the England squad. They are preparing for their friendly with Wales before they actually take on Latvia in qualifying. They never seem to have a hard game in qualifying. Anyway, don't know what to make about that, but they always seem to never play anyone, really. We have Lenny Yarrow then up with the French under-21 squad. So let's see how he does there. I mean, surely it's time Lenny Yarrow's getting into that French squad, into the senior team. I think it is probably one of the strongest nations in the world. And they do have a lot of competition there. But I think, obviously, he's still quite young, still being eligible for the under-21 squad. But the quality is there to be seen. You know, he's an absolutely excellent footballer. He's growing in confidence. You know, you can see the manager has a lot of faith in him. Watching the matches, I have a lot of faith in him as well. And I think when we're lining out our strongest team, he's definitely solidified that right-hand side of the back three there alongside De Ligt. So yeah, big fan of Lenny Yarrow. So really looking forward to seeing him break into the French squad, into the French senior squad very, very soon. Another couple of players we have are Bioniq, who's up with Turkey. They meet Bulgaria before heading to the homeland to welcome Georgia on Tuesday. So yeah, a lot of United players to keep an eye out for. We also have youngster James Scanlon, who could feature and should feature for Gibraltar on Wednesday evening, coming up against New Caledonia. I mean, yeah, if you're looking for a bit of entertainment on Wednesday evening, that should definitely live up to it. But like I mentioned, lots of players to keep an eye out for on this international break. Yes, I know it's tough, guys. We just got our victory against Sunderland. We're building that momentum. We are so back. All of that. We love all that. We have a big game against Liverpool coming up in the Premier League, but we need to get through this international break unscathed and to hopefully have our players continue the fine run of form. For whoever are on good form and whoever is searching for a bit of form, hopefully they can find that within their international teams and within their matches over the next while. But for this episode, we'll call it there. There'll be plenty more over the next week discussing how our players are getting on in those matches. Any sort of rumours, I suppose, that are coming up now towards the next sort of transfer window. I mean, it's United, so there's always players going to be linked. So never in doubt there in terms of content. But yes, thank you very much for listening for this episode, and I will see you in the next one.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.